Okay, so in this week's meditation atelier, we're going to be playful with the sympathetic nervous system. We're going to observe ourselves in action. So before you start this this practice, please have a look at the 2 links I'm going to leave in the description around what the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system are. So they're all part of our autonomic nervous system, and they can be, we can observe them and notice when they're in control, which can give us an opportunity to be with our experiences slightly differently. So I'm thinking when we're stressed, when we use these mindfulness techniques, we can step out of the story and observe what's going on in the body, how this guy can create chaos for this space. We're going to have a play with it. So be kind with the scenarios that you pick. That's what I'll just begin with before we step out of our thinking minds into simply being. So we're responsible for taking care of ourselves. So listen, be kind, be tender. So to begin with, taking a moment to settle into your body and arrive, checking in with your posture, shining a spotlight around your body and checking in for any points of obvious tension. So the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders, elongating your spine as best you can, having a self-supporting spine. Honouring these bodies that carry us around and house our experiences while we're here on this planet for this short amount of time. This body that's carried us throughout our lives, fairly unnoticed unless it's causing us pleasure or discomfort. And for the most part, there's not a lot going on that we really pay attention to. It just gets on with it. Scanning your body from your head down to your toes, or your toes up to your head, checking in with yourself. Are there any unpleasant sensations? Where are they? What are they? You can rest around the edges, or you can head right in and go to the center of it. And then gathering your awareness and exploring any pleasant sensations that you might be noticing. Where are they? What are they? And then gathering your awareness and expanding your focus to the neutral, non-obvious sensations of the body, this nothingness. We know that it's there, but it's not giving us much information. And now let's gather our awareness to our breath. Not changing the rhythm in any way, simply observing the flow of the breath as we breathe in and we breathe out. You can count if that's helpful. From 1 up to 10. Knowing that we mainly lose focus around 3 before the mind jumps in and tries to find us more interesting things to be thinking about. Every time it does that, I want you to congratulate yourself for noticing and bring yourself back to your direct experience of the breath. So you might need to be firm with yourself, but be gentle about it. We take these moments to observe our tendencies and our habits. Step out of doing into being. Noticing with kindness and curiosity our experience of our breath. So we breathe in, pause, breathe out, and pause. Checking that you're not tensing up your body, the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders, elongating your spine. We have a tendency to slump and sink into our bodies. Every now and again, checking in with yourself. Dignified, graceful, grounded, solid, like a mountain. This body as we breathe here, expanding that awareness of your breath to include all of your body. Now, a reminder to be gentle with yourself here. I want you to bring into your mind's eye the last time you made a mistake that makes you cringe. Could be the time you flew off the handle and got it wrong, made an assumption or a judgment that was incorrect. No, an invitation to replay this story. And now an invitation to explore in your body. Just resting here. What can you notice? Maybe your eyes have scrunched up a little bit or your jaw has clenched. You might notice an increase in saliva. Has your heart rate changed? Is there a feeling in your gut? That sort of overall feeling of, oh, I can't think of the right vocabulary, but that cringe of awkwardness and uncomfortable. wishing that things had been different. What's happened to your breath as we hold ourselves in this space? Like really embodying our experience and noticing what happens in the body. You might notice a bit of sweat under the armpits, the hands. Your facial expression. Our bodies are communicating constantly. And being playful in kind of prodding our sympathetic nervous system, we get an opportunity to observe our responses, our automatic responses. But that is essentially stepping away from the story. We're telling our bodies that we are in danger. There's a lion in the corner of the room, that our life is threatened. And embarrassing, cringy experiences, these thoughts, our body thinks we're in danger. We need to run away, that it needs to protect you. It needs to protect itself, get to safety. These mental events that we play over, rehearse, analyze, sit with. Tell our body that we're not safe. That fight, flight, freeze, fawn, where we people please, behave in ways to protect ourselves, to protect others. Noticing our body's response, being interested and curious and tender towards the way that it reacts. These bodies that are a combination of our genes, our experiences, our environments. And an invitation to turn towards yourself with some tenderness. You're extraordinary. Your humanness. This information that we're gathering, simply noticing. That our feelings are there to be felt. They are often pushed away, hidden, covered over. And that by dropping directly into these experiences. We give ourselves an opportunity to pause. And when we practice this within meditation, we strengthen those neural pathways, work out that mental muscle, giving ourselves an opportunity to step into this space when these moments happen. We can pause, step out of our stories, and respond perhaps more wisely. Not always, but there's an opportunity. Our thoughts are not facts. They are mental events. And they change. And they're different depending on so many factors within our control and outside of our control. We always have a choice as to how we respond to our experiences. So an invitation to narrow your awareness to your breath. To check in with your body, your posture. Have you slumped? Are you clenching your jaw? Are you holding your breath? Are your shoulders up by your ears? Are your eyes tight and clenched? Unintentionally, when we tighten and tense these areas of the body, we're telling it that we're not safe. We unintentionally increase the inflammation within our body because we're releasing stress hormones, telling our body that we might need to run away at any moment. It's on standby. And simply by noticing and pausing, we can step out of the story. Observe it from the body's perspective. So it's not dissociating, it's not being in the experience, it's being with the experience from the body's perspective rather than the brain's. So we've hardwired some reactions to our experiences we've carried with us from childhood, teenagehood, early adulthood. Our brains develop until the age of around 25. They're growing, and some of these habits and tendencies we've carried along the years, and they've been very helpful to us, protecting us. There comes a point where they can sometimes be unhelpful, automatic, make things worse for ourselves. It's not about changing anything, but noticing and using the body as a space to expand and explore and to listen to go so unnoticed. So let's bring our awareness to our in-breath, noticing perhaps the temperature of the air as it travels up your nostrils, gets pulled down into the lungs, and there's a pause, giving the body an opportunity to exchange gases, and then it gets pushed out, up and down out the nostrils, perhaps noticing if there's warmth here. You breathing into the base of your lungs or just to the upper part of your chest. As best you can, breathing through your nose. This increases the amount of oxygen within the body. Perhaps noticing how different each breath is. And now an invitation to bring into your mind's eye the last time that you had a really lovely cuddle or hug from somebody. What do you notice in your body as you hold this moment in your mind's eye? I'm just checking in that you're not tightening or clenching any parts of the body. For the most part, when we hold these memories in our mind's eye, we're releasing hormones such as oxytocin, your parasympathetic nervous system is releasing some hormones into the body that say you're loved, you're safe, you're well. This then tells your organs that it's okay to digest the food, do some of the clearing up, tidying, rather than just maintaining the basic functions to survive. It's a restoration process, healing, cleansing. So we hold in our mind's eye the last time we had a really great cuddle from somebody. For the most part, the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems work without much input from us, very little input from us. But there are a few simple things that we can do to soothe ourselves, to support our health and well-being. Bringing our awareness to our breath, checking in with our body every now and again to let go of tightness and tension. Pausing to check that we have had enough water, that we've fed ourselves, we've had enough rest, not too overstimulated, like we might do a toddler, changing and adjusting our days around our needs, where and when we can. It's not always possible, but there are things that we can do to avoid overloading our bodies, adding stress. Bringing your awareness to your breath, breathing in and breathing out, observing sensations, textures, and colours. The loveliness is everywhere, even in the ugliest and most hostile environment. The loveliness is everywhere, at the turning of a corner, in the eyes and on the lips of a stranger, in the emptiest areas where there's no place for hope and only death, invites the heart. The loveliness is there. It emerges, incomprehensible, inexplicable. It rises in its own reality. And what we must learn is how to receive it into ours. Let's move into taking some tea together. This activity-based opportunity to be aware of the present moment, the colours, the shapes, the textures, the sounds, the smells, all these little moments that make up our lives, that aren't little. They're not little. Moving, stretching, listening to your body. If you don't have tea, this is your one here. Serving you a thyme infusion from the garrig, which is one of the harshest environments plants to grow. Loads of minerals and vitamins and antioxidants and all that lovely stuff. So I'm going to pause the recording here and move into a space to share about direct experiences of the practice. So an invitation to journal about your direct experience of how you found that, being with that cringe-worthy moment, and what your body told you. Was there anything interesting or new, or was it familiar? Were you able to be kind about your experience? And how useful this communication is, no matter how much we want to kind of push it away. So there was no right or wrong way of doing that practice. It's being interested in our experiences and noticing and learning to listen and pay attention to our bodies as one other way of experiencing our version of reality. So yeah, I'm going to close the practice with a poem. This is looking at some of our automatic habits and tendencies. You need to close your eyes or you can keep them open, finish your tea. The Cookie Thief by Valerie Cox. A woman was waiting at an airport one night, with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shop, bought a bag of cookies and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man beside her, bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. She munched cookies and watched the clock as this gutsy cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking if I wasn't so nice, I'd blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too, and when only one was left, she wondered what he'd do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, oh brother, this guy has some nerve and he's also rude. Why, he didn't even show any gratitude. She had never known when she had been so galled, and sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed for the gate, refusing to look at that thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank into her seat, then sought her book, which was almost complete. As she reached in her bag, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she moaned with despair, then the others were his and he tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. And we've all been there. So as best you can, taking a sense of awareness, gratitude, presence into what's left of your day.